Hey guys, Fhraelaok here with my weekly vlog as it is Friday. Woot, Friday! It's the weekend. Well, it will be the weekend tomorrow and Sunday, and then it won't be. Anyway, so I'm Fhraelaok, you already know that. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the main topic of different types of guilds, as well as what I've done this last week. So, this last week, I've put out a few videos. I did slow down on putting out the videos, but I have put out my Cataclysm videos every single day. Once I run out of episodes to put up, I will just continue them Saturday and Sundays, as I have plenty to record, so I'm doing it 2 days a week. But as I've always stated on there, I mean, they may come out whenever they come out. It just depends what I'm doing. Maybe I find a reason to record it. Now, I have a story to tell about last night, on the game, but anyway, for the rest of this week, I've worked hard on gearing. I've talked to some guildies, learning about some things about tanks, you know, certain enchants, metas, etc. And as now you can see, I am now a tank on this. I mean, that's my primary focus. It was going to be, but now it definitely is, as I've gotten a little bit more geared. And that's pretty much been it. You know, I did Baradin's Hold on a 25-man. Nothing good dropped for me, but I did do it. It was enjoyable. I was very low on the DPS charts, because I was DPSing. I was darn near the worst DPS there was. However, there was a Warlock doing 4K. But I think he died early on or something. So, you know, that just really kills your DPS. With the dots ticking and you being dead, I mean, it really, really kills DPS. Alright, with that being said, let's move on to the major topic I want to talk about. Different types of guilds. Now, I've wrote some down. They're just general, I don't know, titles of types of guilds. And, I mean, your guild might be in between two of them. It might not be any of them. But anyway, let me start off with the social guild. It's similar to a casual guild, but not quite a casual guild. A social guild is only there for chatting with each other, hanging out with friends online, not necessarily doing any dungeons or anything, or questing or anything. It's just you're there to chat with each other. It's like a chat room online. This can be any level character, any type of person, but you're just in the game to talk with others. That's a lot of people. As you can see, a lot of people just usually hanging around Stormwind, or back in Lich King Dalaran, or even Shatrith in, what do you call it, BC. Now, I didn't play during Vanilla, so I can't really talk much about that, but those three expansions, you see a lot of people standing around. They're not all waiting for dungeons, or their raid groups, or PvP. They're, a lot of them, just on chatting with each other. And that's great and all, and this is why you should be in that guild. If you like doing that, and that's what you like doing, you don't like raiding or doing anything with anybody else, but you like talking to them, that's a good guild for you. Now, a casual guild is a little bit different. I mean, you're in it for the social reasons, yes, but you also sometimes help each other do dungeons or quests or something. That's more of a casual guild. Now, you can raid, but it's not something scheduled, and it's, you know, more spontaneous. Now, a casual raiding guild, you got the casual effects of it, you got the casual side of it. The chatting, the helping people, the leveling together, the doing some dungeons together sometimes. And then the raiding, you actually have a raiding team. You have people in the guild that still like the guild for its casualness, but still wants to be able to raid with a set group of people. Now, that set group of people, unfortunately, will probably change week to week because it's a casual guild, and not that serious of one. You're probably not going to get super far in raiding, and that's alright, because you just want to be able to raid. You don't really care about how far you get, you just want to have fun in raids together, maybe get some gear, get the experience on the boss fights, just have a good time with each other. So that's why you should be in a casual raiding guild. Now, they raid, I don't know, probably 1 to 3 days a week. Now, a raiding guild, that's right, not casual raiding, not hardcore raiding, just a raiding guild, would probably raid, I don't know, 2 to 4 nights a week, maybe even up to 5. They don't raid for more than maybe 2 to 3 hours a night, And that's what their guild is. They still help people level, they still do dungeons together, but they are primarily raiders. They're not in it for each other, they're in it to raid. And they still want to get pretty far, but they have pretty much accepted the fact that they probably won't be one of the top-end raiding guilds. But they still will get pretty far by the end. Now, hardcore raiding is full-out raiding 5 to 6 nights a week, however long it takes to get down the content. Your raid leaders aren't very happy with you when you make a mistake, and you raid for hours and hours a night. You're expected to have everything ready, everything in order, and you're not there for each other. You're there for the raid, and only to down that last boss on heroic mode. That's why you're there. You already have plenty of gear, and you're just working for it. You want to be one of the top-end guilds. That's what a hardcore raiding guild is. And then there's a PvP guild on a totally different spectrum. There's all kinds of different PvP guilds, such as Raided Battlegrounds, Regular Battlegrounds, Arena, World PvP. There is a ton of them. But there's not a whole lot of them on a non-PvP realm. Now, in PvP realms, I'm sure there's plenty of them. I've never personally been on one for longer than, 5 minutes just checking out a couple of guilds. But I'm sure there are plenty of world PvP guilds and whatnot out there who enjoy, going into cities and just owning. Now, those are the different types of guilds. Why should you join a guild? For those exact reasons I just listed off. Those are the reasons you should join. Sorry, I meant to be doing my mail while I was talking about this here, just like 5 minutes later, and I've still not handled the mail. But you should be in those guilds for those reasons, and only those reasons. Now, if you're looking to do some seriously hardcore raiding, and you really want to push it, but you still have friends in another guild that you just don't want to leave, unfortunately, that's where you really have to make the choice. But you cannot force that guild to do what you want it to do. Now, the guild I'm in, Leviathan, is a casual raiding guild. That's what it is. They have 2 teams going. The second team kind of struggles getting together, as the raid leader, from what I've been told, has been sick for a while. And they haven't been raiding all that long. But they've already gotten down, 9 to 12? And this is after just a couple weeks, and they just tried Cho'Gall and already got him into Phase 2 on their very first night ever trying him. Now that, to me, is a pretty decent progression for a casual raiding guild. But that was the primary team. Now, I don't know what kind of expectations they have for gear or anything, and if you look inside of their guild bank, they don't have a whole lot to offer you as a raider, honestly. But that's absolutely fine. Because they're not just a raiding-only guild. If you look on the roster, there's 29s, a 41, an 80. They just have a good time. They go do some PvP sometimes, quests. So they're very nice people. And that also goes from social to casual raiding to hardcore / PvP, is where you go from nice people to, honestly, elitist pricks. You really do have that spectrum. There's hardly, if any, hardcore raiders out there who are seriously hardcore raiders that are some of the top-end players in the game that will be nice to you under really any circumstance. You ask them a simple question like, does a hunter use agility? Because, say you're a new player, you ask, does a hunter use agility? Because you're like, should I pick up the mail with the agility? Or should I pick up, this leather with agility? Or, does he use mail? You just ask a simple question. You don't know. That casual player is going to say, yes, you want the mail with agility on it. Plain and simple. However, that hardcore raider is probably going to say, God, what are you, noob? Just quit now if you don't know your own class. I'm sorry, but that's how it is. I've been all the way from completely casual and social all the way up to that seriously hardcore raiding side of things. Dragons of Abyss went from a casual guild in Burning Crusade to a somewhat casual raiding guild. And then in Wrath of the Lich King, we became a raiding guild to a full-blown hardcore raiding guild. So we went all the way up that spectrum as hardcore as we could, and we pushed our rank up to the top 10 in the realm, which I thought was pretty darn good considering how late in we got into progression. So, you know, it just depends what you like. But really, guys, you have to just understand that you're going in the guild for what the guild is, not for what you want. I mean, you can't tell the guild, oh, well, I like you guys, but I really have to raid, so we have to raid. You know, it's gotta happen or I'm gone. And don't you ever, ever, ever give somebody an ultimatum. Well, if you don't start running dungeons with me, I'm just gonna leave and get a different guild. You know how far that's gonna get you? I mean, I have so much I can talk about guild stuff. Next week, I think, if I remember, I'll talk about guild leadership. Or as a matter of fact, we're only 10 minutes into this. Let me just talk a little bit about guild leadership now. So I can actually concentrate on this, and you can actually listen to me have a full, fluid thought. Alright. Let me just fly on up. You can look at the cathedral, as a matter of fact. Let me just fly up a little bit higher. You can get a better view of the city. Or of the keep. Pretty cool. Anyway. Alright. So guild leadership, guys. It's a big responsibility. And if you're leading any of these, you know, kind of qualified guilds to be casual all the way up to hardcore rating or PvP, you have to play it for it. You have to decide what your guild's gonna be. Yeah, your guild can change halfway through it. If you started out casual raiding and you decided, you know what, we have some really good raiders and it's pretty much all we're getting, maybe we should be a hardcore raiding guild. But hardcore, like you actually want to progress and be one of the best. Certainly you can change from casual raiding to hardcore raiding. You just have to let all your members know that, and you do not have to kick your lower levels just because now you're primarily a raiding guild. You don't have to kick lower levels, there's no need to. For all you know, they'll level up and they'll be some of the best raiders you've ever come across. And it would be nice to have them. So, on top of that, recruiting. Recruiting in trade is very important and very necessary. Having a couple other people who can invite into the guild and recruit, you just have to make sure they know what they're looking for. And they don't, you know, half-ass it. If you're looking for certain raiders with certain levels of gear and achievements, if somebody links an achievement, does not mean they actually have it. There are fake achievement add-ons out there. Someone in this guild was a person who was doing that just to get into pugs. But it doesn't matter, they'll use it for anything that is going to get them free loot and, you know, an easy time. So, if someone links an achievement or says they have a certain eye level of gear, and you're going to recruit them into your guild to raid or something, and you're actually looking for a certain level of gear and experience, you need to go onto the WoW Armory and you need to look them up. Make sure that if you have somebody else doing that, that they look them up. Same with pugging. If you're going to pug in for your raid and you actually want to go far, don't just ask them to link it. And you don't even have to ask them. If they say they're interested, go straight to the armory, tell them 1 sec, go to the armory, look them up, and if they look decent and you want to invite them, tell them, alright, and invite them. That's what I've always done. I just hate to have bad pugs. I really do, because when you're pugging, you have a really wide selection and a big pool to choose from. As a leader, you need to have good officers. And as a leader, you have to have the respect of others and of your entire guild. Now, if someone doesn't respect you, you can't just go and say, oh, well, you don't respect me, you know, you're out. From time to time, that may be necessary to do, though. But if other officers are on, I mean, you know, just talk to the guy, tell him or tell her, you know, you seem to be a little disrespectful. Is there anything I can do to, you know, earn your respect? Is there something I say, something I do that offends you? And, you know, if they're like, well, you know, actually, yeah, and they tell you, maybe you can fix it. All this is easy fixes. Think of it as you've got a real team in real life. Are you just going to go, you know, shove that other person down because you don't like them? Or are you just going to tell them, you know, hey, you know, I'm not a huge fan of you, but, you know, maybe we can get along well enough to do this project together, you know, and then once we're done, we're done. We don't have to worry about it, you know, just like a raid. You know, I'm not really a fan of this guy, but we're here to raid, so let's just do it. Just that simple, but don't argue. Especially as a leader, it looks really bad when you argue with people. Don't ever let your guildies ever argue or start crap in trade. That's not okay. It will hurt your guild. There's all kinds of stuff, and I'm not even going to go into raid leading because that's a very intense subject. And I already have a raid leader training playlist up on my page. It is kind of outdated, and there is a how-to DKP on there too, but it is definitely outdated. But it still has some general ideas that may be useful if you want to check it out. If you're interested in learning how to lead raids, you don't have to be a guild leader to lead a raid. But if you think you might want to lead a raid someday, it would be a great place to start. Anyway, it's been 5 more minutes talking about this. I don't really know what else to say about it, but you just got to be a nice guy. You can't always be a friend to everybody. You got to have your set ground rules and your set rules that everybody really needs to agree to coming into the guild. And make sure that they're typed out on a website or something somewhere. And make sure you always have proper grammar and proper punctuation and proper spelling. If you don't, again, you look like an idiot. And who wants to have a guild leader who can't even spell, or who can't even take the time to put a capital at the beginning of the sentence, or a question mark at the end of a question? I mean, really. So make sure it's professional, and make sure it's set out. If it's not set out where everybody can read it, and can actually click on it and go learn about it, then you can't kick them out for breaking a rule that they didn't even know about. Which sometimes screws you over because they need it to be kicked, but you're like, you know, what am I going to do? I didn't even have the rules out there. Oh, excuse me, just hit my mic. Then there you go. Anyway, I'll probably come out with more next week about this. If there's anything you want me to talk about specifically, please leave a comment and let me know. If you liked this video, please be sure to thumbs up and subscribe. It's just a simple vlog. I've not been taking it of myself, but I may sometime start taking video of me so you can see what I look like again while I take my vlogs. Alright guys, well again, thanks for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, thumbs up, subscribe, thumbs up, subscribe. And I will see you in another video very, very soon. Alright, see you then. P.S. I told you I was going to talk about what happened last night in game, and I just now remembered I wanted to do that after I stopped the video. So this is just kind of an extra little bonus thing, I guess. So here goes. Last night I queued for a random heroic. Last one I wanted to do of the night. I was pretty tired, but I figured it should be fast and easy. All the rest of my heroics have been, even as I was tanking in lower gear. So I queued up, and I got put into Grim Batol. The group didn't seem that bad. I went in with a guildie, a warrior DPS. He was also pretty tired, so every once in a while he might accidentally pull, or he might just pull a group to get it started. Completely understandable. I don't have a problem with that. And we ended up wiping on some trash, and then we ended up wiping on the boss. We ended up getting a different healer, and then we ended up getting a different DPS, and we wiped, and we wiped, and we wiped, which was absolutely ridiculous. But at one point, our rogue pulled aggro, causing me to have to pull the boss back off of him while picking up the different ads, and trying to keep everybody alive because our healer was pretty awful. Then I missed one of the major abilities he does, and he killed me. The boss did, so, you know, here I am totally jacking up. And then, I think the rogue was the one that fell off into the fiery pit of doom down below, and so did I on that point. And I was just struggling, and I'm like, you know what, really? So, I mean, we spent a lot of time running back from dying, and then finally, we got past that boss. We went to the next one. We accidentally pulled the boss after some of the trash. And we still had some of the trash to deal with, so we ended up dying. We didn't really have much room to maneuver him in whatsoever. And then we tried him again, and we got him down. So that wasn't so bad. We got into the next boss, and we didn't wipe, which was good, because I figured we probably would on that one. but we didn't. And then we wiped on more trash, and of course more trash. I mean, we died probably at least 20 times each. And the warrior probably more than that. Because, well, he just had some awful luck, and the healer was awful, and the healer was more often than not, just kind of standing there, not really healing. And then every once in a while would throw, like, a quick heal, you know, an instant cast heal on me. And then would just stand there again. So would always have at least half mana, but would not use it. And I don't see the point of having any mana if you're not going to use it. I mean, you can drink at the end of a fight. I won't pull again. I watch my healer's mana. I mean, how do you think I know that he had half mana? Anyway, so then we go to the trash right before the last boss. The last 2 pools. And we wipe. Then we go on to the next pool. And we actually, I don't know if we wiped on that one. But either way, I mean, it was pretty ugly. We went on to the boss, and I figured, wow, this is going really well. They were taking down the ads really well. The boss had 70,000 hit points left when one of our DPS decided not to switch to the ad, so the ad survived, healed the boss. The boss, by the end of that point, was up to full health, and we all wiped. So we figured, well, of course that was going to happen. Of course. So we go back in and we try it again, and we agree that no matter what, we'll always kill the ads every single time. Now on the last point where it had like 30,000 health, and of course it gets healed when the ads come in, then I just focused on the boss at that point. They can handle the ads, and I'll try to get the boss down as low as I can. And they finished the ads off. He had like, I don't know, 10,000 health left at that point, which was excellent. And we finished him off. So, Grim Patrol is a bit of a rough instance, especially with all the different bosses, or the mobs, that really hit everybody, and they're just inconvenient. Crowd control is suggested, but not necessary as long as you have a healer who heals and doesn't just sit there. But it was just a really awful night, and I died so many times. It was the first bad heroic I've had yet. And, yeah. It was just really, really, really bad. So, now you've heard what I did last night, and how awful that went. If you've had a bad experience like that, I mean, sticking it through, and finishing it, but literally dying at least 20 plus times. At least. Please comment and tell me. Because I want to know if I'm the only person who is this bad, awful luck with every once in a while groups. So, anyway, alright guys, again, thanks for watching. Please thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode of Something Somewhere.